Okay, so today I'm going to build this small 3x3 full TNT Hipster Door. It's by me and guardiengamer. It's currently the world's smallest, as suggested. It's 11 by 5 by 6 and it's 330 blocks. So you can see it closing. It closes in about 5 seconds and it opens in about half a minute. So let's see opening. So it is Entityless, Sandless, and you can even place TNT fully on the floor, which is quite nice. There are no redstone components that power the floor, so you can obviously place TNT if you wish to. And I'm going to do an explanation along the tutorial, so just to show you how the door works. Let's get building. So these are things you need for the door. You don't really have to divide into these colors for the building blocks, but I prefer it. So if I can calculate, obviously I don't know if I can, you need 45 building blocks including the input block, and just so happens I forgot to include the lever for this, but anyways. And these below here, they indicate the items you would need for the dropper system. So 3 normal items and 6 snowballs, or items that stack up to 16. Yeah. Okay, so the length for this door is 11, the height is 6, and the width is 5. So prepare that. And now we're going to build the piston layout for this door. So get yourself some pistons, sticky pistons, and observers. The layout is quite interesting. We're going to have a 0.2 pixel extender like this, but we're going to use 4 of them only. And for the observer sliders to power the pistons above, we're going to have a folded one. Now you can compact this folded observer slider. Obviously, it's quite easy, but to fit all the circuits in is not so much easier. So yeah, we have the exact same thing on the other side, and remember these are sticky pistons. To retract this piston here and then pull it back down. So for storage of the TNT or the door blocks, we're going to have the standard thing. So you can have non-standard storage, obviously, but you know, this is standard. So that's it done. Now we're going to do the powering layout, and I'm going to build some specific stuff. This observer here. This will be used in the retraction circuit. We'll see. Oh, actually I can just get those here. And this line will be completely with observers. Dust, one tick again. And the top line is standard. Just building blocks and then one tick pieces. For the storage, for this here, it's quite weird. Or, well, a bit interesting, but not so weird. Oh, also, bottom input. There will be an observer here for the science circuit. The quad or triple extension. So this here is quite interesting. This is more interesting than this here. We are going to use a slider. And oh, not this here. Not glass pane. Glass pane will work, but I don't prefer it. You can see how it works. This will push it like this. Actually, you can just stick an observer here. So, and the reason why we don't want observers here and here is just because we don't want this powering to affect anything here, actually. Though it might be a better thing to do, actually, but whatever. Yep. Okay, so we're going to start on the closing circuit, but obviously we need to know the input for this, and my caps lock is on. No worries. We're going to have a torch. Yes, we're going to run this into a hopper ROM straight away. Where is hopper? Here it is. And then closing circuit, orange wall. Also, I need to get the items. Right, so you need 6 items here. And obviously they're floating to you because I haven't powered it yet. Right, 6 items here. This will create a signal strength of 2. Power it. Remember to do that. Because powering it will open the door. Power here. 3 blocks like this. Dust. No. Comparing mode. Subtraction mode works, but comparing mode. So 2 4 pieces and an observer here. So this does changing state. It will change state twice and will power this slide. And for the closing circuit, it works in a quite weird. Like how it works is quite weird. So we want to do the double, because if you were to actually, we can just even demonstrate it. If you were to power this line, it would explode, I think. Yeah. Also, the reason why it doesn't explode is because I have this command block. Don't worry, this is not cheaty. You don't have to use command blocks. Just killing TNT. So yeah, so we can do that. So we need to do a double. So basically, this, and we're going to fire twice because we're getting 2 more blocks from the storage. So 2 times. And the opening sequence for the closing circuit is completely the same. Which is quite neat. So to do the double, it's quite simple. Just have this. Do something here. Place an observer, I mean. And then we're going to place a hopper for later. This is used in powering the observer slider. 4 tick here. 2 blocks here. Observer here. 2 dust. Yeah. That should be the closing circuit already done. And you can see the opening. And it works. And now we're going to do the opening moves. So before we do the cyan, yellow, pink, and lime, we need to know how the door would work. So I create a model here which will explain how this door works. Hopefully you would understand it. So these are marked and the inputs are marked. For me, when I was building this door, I didn't really write down the sequence, but here you go. So A, B, B is for the repeater line, C is for the observers because we are relying on observers to part the piston specifically at this level, D, E, and storage, didn't name it, but whatever. So what is good for this layout is basically we only need to power the extension circuit quite a few times and it will work. So the triple extension circuit and the extension circuit for the quadruple is exactly the same, just with one small difference, and we'll see why. So cyan is the quadruple extender or the triple extension. So we have E, E, E 1 tick. So this will be a 1 tick. And now we're going to have pink. Pink is for the observer slider. I'm going to power it. Just pretend this as the actual slider. It won't do this move, but whatever. So C for the observers. See here. Yeah. Now, let me explain. The reason why we want C to power is because if you were to imagine for the quadruple piston extender, we want the pistons to go here, and we're going to basically push these pistons. Obviously for now we don't need to, but for the quadruple piston extender we do have to do that. Yeah, but this is the triple, so we don't have to. So you can see this is marked with A 3+. This will do the quadruple piston extender, but this is the triple piston extender, so we will ignore it. So now we're going to ignore it, and we're going to do this move. B 2 tick, B 2 tick. Actually, the first pulse B can be 1 tick, but two tick pulses is simpler. So you can see what happens after the first pulse. It powers this again. This is an issue. If we were to power this with a 1 tick, then you would see it just doesn't retract. And we can't have that. So instead, we need a 2 tick, and it will power the observers, retracting these blocks back. There you go. So that's how we do it. And now we're going to power this here. Push those pistons back, and we run exactly the same thing as this here. This here. C powers. Then we're going to again skip this move to be 2 tick, 2 tick. 2 tick, 2 tick. So we're left to here. And now we're going to power the retraction circuit. So the extension circuit we power a total of 6 times, and after the second time we power, like every second time we power the extension part, which is this here. We're going to do the retraction circuit. Retraction for every second time. Let's see here. So retraction is quite simple. A double pulse, D double pulse, B double pulse. Double pulse here. Double pulse here. Also, if you were to notice, this only gets powered by the retraction circuit, and we'll make use of this later. B double pulse. And there you go. Now we're going to fire the extra moves. The extra moves is quite simple. A 1 tick, at least. And for the first time we want to power the sword, and the second time we won't. Because the first time we want to retract these, but the second time, we'll see later, we don't want to. Because these blocks are already here. And if we were to power it, then we just go back to here, and we don't want that, obviously. So we're going to run the exact same circuit again. So E powers. observers, C, and now this time we're going to power A 3+. So this will extend the pistons to the highest level possible. And it obviously powers it. And yeah, 3 tick is the minimum amount of pulse length that you can have in order to have those pistons power at the highest level. Because for 1 tick, it will spit out the observers obviously, and you don't want that. For 2 tick, it won't spit out, but it won't power the pistons because the observers will retract before they can actually power the pistons. So a 3 tick can power. So 2 tick pulses, and then we run this again. Oh no. So we're going to power this 3 tick again. So also this is going to power again, but it doesn't really matter. I always skip this. In the door, it will do that. We're going to run the retraction circuit, which does absolutely nothing. Basically just retracts the whole stack. But we haven't grabbed that block yet. Oh, I powered it one more time, so oops. Yep, there we go. And we're going to power the extra moves again, because this is just to refire this whole extension. And this time we're not going to power the storage, because if we're going to power the storage, then these blocks will go back to it, and we don't want that. So we're going to go straight into E again. So E, observer slider. Then we're going to do C, and we're going to skip this. Do the two tick pulses. And then our slider goes back. C again. Skip this. Two tick pulses, so it does absolutely nothing actually. Retraction circuit now. Double pulse here. Double pulse at B. Double pulse at B. There you go. We're not going to power the extra moves again, because we're going to power it 2 times. The 3rd time, we're not going to power it. So that is the entire sequence. Now, if you still don't know how this works, I'm sorry, I can't really explain it in the best way. So, but basically, you can see just how important sequences are in doing hipster doors or giant hipster doors. So those basically rely on clever sequences, and clever sequences make them small. So we're just going to power this extension up 3 times, and it works. So now we're going to go back to the door itself. So we're not going to power the extra moves or like after the closing. We're going to power it with a separate circuit that will fire the first pulse. And we start off here. So sign wall now. 2 4 tick repeaters. Observer here. A block here, I think. Yep, there we go. And yep. Sticky piston. Observer here, not a piston. So closing, retracts, opening, goes back, and with enough delay, powers the E. Every single E after, we want to have the observer slider, and before we can actually power the observer slider, we need to have the observer slider ready, obviously. But just let me add these circuit. This is going to activate the observer slider, and we activate it through a burnout. Yes, The observer slide is basically a burnout. And it's by guardiengamer, it's not by me. So good job on him for having this circuit. Anyways, remove this piston. We're going to set up our burnout now. No torches. Torch here. Get that. Make it burn out. Oh, come on. There we go. So, we're going to have this hopper here. This is for the extra moves. We'll use that hopper later. Porting, observer here. And before we place the piston back, observer here. Don't place the block here yet. We will have the block later, but don't place it now. Two observers like this, and a block here. Place the piston now, and you place the block here. There we go. So this piston will activate this burnout, obviously. So now, after the observer slider, we do want to power the extension thingy, and we do that simply by this observer here, and a dropper. And this dropper, you need to place it so that it is towards this direction. This is also part of the extra moves, but we get to use the extra moves circuit to facilitate for our extension. Oh, and also I'm sorry, these you need to rip those out because apparently we have 4 observers here. So, and now we do our extension circuit finally. The extension circuit, first we're going to have an arsenal latch because we're going to power this twice. These moves are going to be powered twice. So, an arsenal latch, best for having double pulses that are far enough. Yeah. I'm going to temporarily remove this observer here, but yeah. There's there. Compressor here. Place an item here. And I'm going to read these out so that it doesn't power the piston stack. Observer here. Replace those. There we go. And now this is let me see. Yep. Going to rip these off. And then place one here. So this is an interesting thing. Remember we said that we want to skip this and to have this. For the first time, we don't want to have it. The second time we want to. The third time we won't. We don't want to have it. And how I did this, the toggle for this, you might think that for this kind of toggle, which is basically a 3-cycle toggle, you basically need a chopper circuit, and that's actually true, but you can have clever ways to avoid it, and this is one of the clever stuff for this door. A 3-cycle toggle works, but it just occupies a lot of door space, and we don't really want that. So we get to use the storage to help us to reset the toggle actually. Yep, this observer here, there's a reason for that. So actually power this here. Observer here, and I'll explain the concept behind it. Observer here, this will be used later. Vortic, block dust. Yep, and this works already, basically. And let me just use some visual aid to explain why and how. Right. So basically this. So if you were to remember the closing, it constantly powers this here, the storage, and the opening, it retracts. And this here, what it means that for every single time we power E, it will one tick this. So one tick. And yeah, for the first time we won't get to power because this piston is here. And for the second time we do, because it's here. For the third time we don't. And that's it. It's basically this. Yeah. The storage has to be constantly powered just because to reset this toggle actually. So we get to have a 3-cycle toggle and we don't even need to use any droppers, hoppers, or any of that. All we need to do is just take this and have this storage to actually help us to reset the toggle. So alternatively, you can have a different sequence for this toggle. So if in case it's like this here, in case, so for every single time you power the retraction circuit, you power this. And yeah, so the first time it will be like this, and we don't have to power it. We don't get to power it. Second time, first time we don't get to power it, and then the retraction fires. And second time we get to power it, the A3 plus, and then we retract it with the retraction circuit. And the third time we don't get to power it, and the retraction circuit powers this again. And obviously the storage will reset it. So you can also have that, but it's simpler to just have the E to power this. So, and also the reason why we can have this observer, obviously, is because of this slider. So that's why we have E to power this. So that explains how we're going to get the A toggle to work. Now we need to obviously have the remaining of the pulses, B2 plus, B2 plus, or actually the first pulse can be 1 tick, but 2 2-tick pulses are easier actually. So I need to remember how this works. I'm going to build some key circuits and to see how I connect it. So this is going to be the circuit. And I don't really remember how actually do this, I think. Let me check. Yep. This 4 tick will power this 2 tick twice by this dropper. And if in case you're wondering, oh, this dropper won't it get butted by this block? And the answer is no, because it's a 1 tick pulse, so don't worry. Nothing updates it. So we get the B double pulse with a 2 tick to work. Now we need to push this item back. This is the first thing we need to do, and the second thing we need to power this observer slider. Well, actually we need to power this observer slider before we push this item back. And we're going to build the observer slider now. It's exactly the same. Turn out. Let's see. And observer here, this will be used to push the item back. For later. 4 tick. Observer here. Don't place this lock yet. This will power this piston, but it doesn't matter in the final door. But you do need some nice timings. So this storage is actually timed because one of the issues for this door is that the burnout is going to fire twice because it doesn't matter, but it would matter because the extra moves will power the storage for the first time, and if we don't power it at the correct timing, then this will block this piston from powering. So this delay is exactly the delay to have this power when this doesn't power. So if this were to power, and yeah, it may block this piston, but the solution is just to time it completely perfectly. Yeah, that's how you get around with this problem. Okay, so remember this server here? Yes, we do get to use it now. I'm going to use it like this. Yeah, it's quite funny for this one because it's basically a loop itself, but doesn't matter. So we're going to have this observer powering will update the burnout. So it also powers this piston, obviously, but doesn't end up being an issue because the burnout needs some delay to repower. So it works. Yep. And now we're going to push this item back to here so it powers the second time. And it's just observer chain, not gonna lie. We don't want to power this piston, so we're going to use a hopper. And we power this dropper by this block, and it will power. Now I think it is time to get into the retraction circuit. So the retraction circuit have like two clusters. One is above here because you can see these already block the transmission of the retraction circuit. So we're going to separate the retraction circuit basically. It's quite simple though. So we're just going to need some amount of delay to get one. So two 2-tick pieces. We're going to use this space here. So this here will go up. Then yeah, because for every single second time we're going to power the retraction circuit, we do need to have a toggle. So this works. Pre-tick, the double pulse connects straight to here. Down below, server here. Another toggle again. Server here, server here. Pre-tick. Well, see if it's a free tick. Yep, there it is. Come on. Okay, so more observers like this. And yes, the retraction circuit also has to time for the storage actually. So it's not random. And since we are going to power this line only for the retraction circuit, we can even do the double pulse here, going above. And that should be almost the entire door working. We just need to add the extra moves, but we can just simply power it to see how far we've got. I forgot that this is... whatever. Also... Oh! Come on. Alright, the reason why it doesn't work is quite simple. Because I forgot to have this hopper here. This block will power this, so you need to have that. So this will do the on, I think. Yep, there you go. And here's do the quad again. So you can see this here is still powering, so that's why I said there will be an issue, but yeah, just perfect time it. Oh, come on. Anyways. So you can see this side it does triple. Yeah, now we're going to go on with the extra moves. So the extra moves is quite funny. It doesn't even have any building blocks itself because there are just dropper hoppers, observers, piston, yeah, no line wall. But we do have line wall in this hopper circuit. 2 items, we'll see why. And let's complete the dropper circuit itself, like so. So, how does this work? We get to use the input. The input is here, locks the hopper. So, after, like, there will be 2 items here, and after 2 times, it will run out of items because the items are caught in here, and they can't go back. So for the third time, there is no item in there, and it won't power. But the first 2 times, it can power because there are items in there. So, okay. Now it might make you thinking, so this dropper, won't it affect anything? And actually it would, but it still works. For the closing, the items will move to here because this torch is powering. And for the opening, it goes to this dropper. And this here, this portal will power twice, obviously. And also even constantly power, so it powers twice, and the items go to here. So it will just refill this dropper. But yeah, it doesn't affect anything. And the only reason we need to have that is because we need this observer to go to there to power the quad or the triple. And we can have a block because we're going to have a comparator here. That's why. So comparator here. We are going to run straight into a sticky piston with an observer here. Choose it, very important. Observer, hopper. 3 observers, like so. Then more observers here. And yep, we do have this observer, but it's here. So the first time, this will retract and power the storage. Second time, it won't. It just goes back. And obviously the first time, it doesn't even go past through the dropper circuit, and it won't fire. And we need to power E. Now, in the actual door, we power E quite early for the refire. So it ends up the animation being not so good. And yeah, because I can't fit enough delay in here, basically. So we just have an observer snake thing, observer chain, basically. We're just going to do this. This is a double pulse, so we need to have a second piston here. So, and that is basically the entire TNT Hipster, I think. Let's see if it works. And there we go. It works. So yeah, hopefully you would understand more about this door, like how this door works and how sequences are helping to make more doors. Yeah. So I'm just going to leave this door running again. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon.